All right, and it says we are live. We are live, and guys, I've seen this movie. I've read this book, and I think most of us knows how this particular piece ends. But I'm going to read a little excerpt just to describe the ground as it currently stands. And seeing the people in a state of such awful wickedness, and those Gadianton robbers filling the judgment seats, having usurped the power and authority of the land, laying aside the commandments of God, and not in the least aright before him, doing no justice unto the children of men, condemning the righteous because of their righteousness, letting the guilty and the wicked go unpunished because of their money, and moreover, to be held in office at the head of government, to rule and do according to their wills, that they might gain and glory of that they might get gain and glory of the world, and moreover, that they might more easily commit wills. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We are here. This is exactly where we are at as a country, and this is not this isn't speculation anymore. This is coming from the cathedral itself, from the, as I'm sure most of you have already heard, the New Time magazine article, which my
Carn,
co-host
you're
will be
roboting.
Yeah, you're roboting
still
real hard.
wow
Yeah.
throughout that whole thing.
Harder than my cock.
Aw, that's very disappointing, actually.
But
So,
your opening was it's definitely able to be listened to for sure.
fair enough. So, is it still terrible?
It's terrible.
All right, go with the article. I want you two to banter with this as I fix my audio.
Roger that. Wow. Spice. The article that to which he referred was by the Times. Hey, do you have it open? 'Cause I happen to have it open. You want me to read the?
Oh, dude, I've got it open too. Read away. I also pulled up some of the organizations that are affiliated with this abortion.
Okay. Weird thing happened after the November 3rd elections. Nothing. Nation braced for chaos. Instead, an eerie quiet descended. As President Trump refused to concede, the response was not mass action, but crickets. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead. Uh, yeah, okay, there we go. It was all very, very strange, Trump said on 2 December. Within days after the election, we witnessed an orchestrated effort to anoint the winner, even while many key states were still being counted. In a way, Trump was right. Now, brace yourself. This is some mind boggling brain shit. There was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance. Both sides would come to see it as a sort of implicit bargain in which forces of labor came to keep the peace and oppose Trump's assault on democracy. That's not the part I wanted.
Oh, you
Here we go.
abbreviated it?
Yeah, I'm abbreviating. The
Okay.
handshake between business and labor was just one component of a vast cross-partisan campaign to protect the elections, an extraordinary shadow effort dedicated not to winning the vote, but to ensuring that it would be free and fair, credible, and uncorrupted. Oh.
So, to make sure that it was uncorrupted, they had to be corrupt.
Oh, it's worse than that. You want to know a funny little thing? Once upon a time, when I thought I wanted to become a cop when I grew up, I had to have some legal training. And here they're talking about A conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes. You cannot commit a conspiracy to do something legal. And yet here they are trying to claim that they committed a conspiracy to uphold the law. No, forget about the clowns. We're past clown world now.
Yeah.
This is total brain shit.
Well, what's happened is Clown World has opened a chasm, and we fall into Hell World.
Yeah, we're in full on hell world. Oh my god, get me off this planet. It's
Well, we do have a special guest here, and the reason I wanted him on was because he is a resident of China, apparently. And
shit.
so,
really?
How does this compare, if I can ask? Are you there, William? I'm not sure he's...
He said, give him a sec. Bill, say something.
No, that was me.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Nah. Okay, apparently he's away. Oh, he can't understand me at all. Okay.
I don't think he can understand any of us.
Yeah, I think the internet connection across in the forbidden zones is cutting across very clearly. So, yeah, it's... how much more clear cut can you get for this article? And it's... and my take from this is it's clearly not just political anymore. Like, as soon as they released this, as soon as they came out and admitted that this was the case, my brain immediately switched over to Wall Street Bets and what happened with them and the GameStop stonks, which is the stonks. We like the stock. Which, by the way, if you didn't jump in $3 or $4, don't bother jumping in now. But anyways, it is fascinating because they openly admitted, yes, this is a corrupt system from both sides. No one is allowed to get entry unless we say so, and we're going to completely ruin you if you try to go against us. And it is literally what I read out at the introduction. This is just men using the government to suppress the little guy. And it's only going to get worse. Like, I've forsaken any notion that there's going to be a return to normal. Nope. I've forsaken the notion that there's going to be a new normal. Like, this is going to be a continuous downward spiral until we hit the bottom, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
I just did my best to save that article offline because you guys, you know, this is going to be gone by tomorrow, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the internet is forever. That's why we're saving it now and going over it today. So, Guardsman, Spicy Pete, you had you did research on this.
Yep.
All right, give us your findings.
Okay, so the way this started off was more or less just to kind of nod and a wink to other corporations and protesting groups across the U.S. They all consolidated under one unified chain of command, let's say. Because the way this falls together looks to me like it's not just politics that they're talking about in this article. They are talking about in this article using the protests as a way to spread their messages of what they believe. They even say in here that this would not have been possible if it wasn't for the George Floyd, and the word that they used was uh, somewhat violent racial protests.
That's right. They did.
And it's ridiculous. This is the kind of shit you would read, that you would hear Alex Jones talk about on Infowars, and you would go, "Oh, this dude's a freaking nut job." This is nuts.
This video just got yeeted, by the way. Continue.
My bad.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
it might as
hang on.
well.
Well,
Let's get honest.
yeah. Things just got pretty bad. In fact, Spicy P has been yeeted as per the YouTube overlords for reasons we cannot discern.
Oh, you gotta be fucking jerking me off. He's
you would
back.
never get that lucky.
Hey, we got William.
I come back and all I hear is fucking jerking me off. What the hell?
Oh, you haven't even seen my bad behavior yet.
Oh my gosh.
So the guy that came up with this monstrosity, it came up with this sometime in the fall of 2019. His name is Mike Pod Hortzer, who will be referred to as Pod or Mike Pod from this point on, because that's a very weird last name. I think it's Polish, but anyways, senior advisor to the president of the AFL-CIO, the nation's largest union federation. Okay. Has marshaled the latest tactics and data to help its favorite candidates win elections, unassuming and professional, sucking his dick, so on and so forth. Among Democratic insiders, he's known as a wizard behind some of the biggest advances in political technology in recent decades. A group of liberal strategists he brought together in the early 2000s led to the creation of the Analyst Institute, a secretive firm that applies scientific methods of political campaigns. He was also involved in the founding of Catalyst, a flagship progressive data company. Sum it up, this dude brought together a whole bunch of progressive shit hooks that went against the will of the people. Oh shit, Karn dropped off.
Yeah. Okay. We also had a comment in the chat. Were we talking about the gentleman from Texas? And no, not specifically. We were comparing to him this level of batshit weird, whatever the fuck this crap is. And oh my god.
All right, so
No,
the Democracy Defense Coalition is a group that started strategizing based off the idea if Trump did not step down from his position, if he lost. The key word being if. The problem is, though, when I started personally looking into this group, it was based on the idea that Trump lost and committed to a coup of some type. You read into this article, it talks about fortifying the election results. Well, fortifying, what is the definition of fortifying? It's to build something up, a defensive position of some sort. Well, sounds a lot like rigging to me.
Yeah, well, they're going to turn around and say all we really did was make sure that every I was dotted, every T was crossed at exactly the right point in the scale, whatever the fuck it's called. But yeah, we all know what they really meant. All right.
I'm trying to find where it said here in the article that uh, they wanted the election to turn out the way it was supposed to turn out.
Supposed to turn out, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. I think.
Okay.
Okay.
All
I
right.
was mentioning the section of this article that said that the reason why this was done was to make sure the election came out the way it was supposed to come out, meaning everyone had preconceived notions about who was supposed to get elected. In their opinion, it's supposed to be Biden, so inevitably fortifying the votes this election means that they had to set it up so that Biden could win, aka rigging it for Biden. And even if you, I'm looking at the time.com, their article specifically, and they're even trying to rewrite what happened. Like if you were watching Crowder's stream while they were on election night, there was a group of people that showed up at the Detroit vote counting area,
Mm-hmm.
and here they have a picture of the people outside with their phones watching it, and underneath it says Trump supporters seek to disrupt the vote count in Detroit's TCF Center on November 4th. My ass, I was watching the damn stream when this shit happened. First, they came out and said some fishy shit was going on in Detroit, and then all of a sudden, less than 15 minutes later, a whole shitstorm of people were down there going, "Hey, what the fuck?"
Well, yes. I mean, how dare the conservatives or the Republicans demand accountability for the electoral process? I mean, that's clearly a disruption, right?
Oh yeah,
You
and
know,
it gets better. It gets even better. In the article itself, it was, God, give me a couple minutes. I'm going to find it so I can read it. You guys
you'd think
continue on.
that you'd think that a leftist would want a really clear accountability so that nobody can turn around, 3 months later and say, "Wait a second, we still don't know what really happened with the bin underneath the table," or
Well,
or fill in the
well,
blank. There's like 1,000 of them.
and that's why even 30% of Democrats think this election was fishy. It's not. They know. They know. It's just so happens their candidate won, and we were going over this. Yeah, I know I'm metallic. I'm sorry. It's gonna be that way a little bit. I apologize. Um, their guy won, and what's frustrating is, as we were going over this before, the Pipefitters Union, who
The- You're
yeah, go
breaking
ahead,
up a lot
Spicy.
again. You're breaking up a lot again.
Yeah, you've got somebody in the chat, Mook. Maybe you know him. He's saying you're metallic.
Yeah, I saw that. It's
Okay,
he
I
says
saw
it's
that.
okay. But if I'm breaking up really bad, then we'll just have to how do I put this? Just hold the show for me, guys, because I want to go to
Okay,
the
we
Pipe
can do
Fitters
that.
Union. So
All
go
right.
ahead on that, Spicy.
All right. I'm trying to find it, but the name of the guy was Taruk, something like that.
Oh my God, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. He's some kind of what the fuck's he called? The organization is uh,
Not BLM. He's
African American Clergy Coalition. God, I can't remember how the hell to do a search on here.
he claims to be a chaplain.
Yeah, some kind of chaplain said that. Oh hell,
Chaplain
there,
for what? The Satanic Church?
dude. I don't know.
I'm gonna pay for that one of these days, but not today.
The problem is there's so much information in this article about how fucked up this election is. Well, about how rigged the election was that uh, you can't get through all of it. Okay, so apparently they got with Silicon Valley to redo the algorithms to uh, how do I put this? To suppress disinfo and anything that sounded like Biden was rigging anything was to be labeled as disinfo. So this group has actually no connections with the Biden election, the Biden campaign team whatsoever. Supposedly, allegedly, and all that quotation jazz. Um, yeah, it also says that they the day of, the day after, and from 2019, the day of and day after election, that they were combating litigations brought by the Trump campaign of a piece with the broader campaign to sow doubt about mail-in voting, was making novel claims and using theories no court has ever accepted. They read
Bullshit.
more like, they read more like lawsuits designed to send a message rather than achieve a legal outcome. Sorry, there was a belch there trying to work its way out. Uh,
Have
okay.
accepted those
Well,
arguments
and
before.
not only that. Am I good now?
Better. Let's see how it
Okay,
goes.
we'll see how it goes. But no, they also admit to suppressing the Hunter Biden story. They
Oh yeah.
openly, they
Yeah, well,
openly say,
yes.
yeah, we're not going to broadcast this story. And then after the election, for no reason whatsoever, admitted that the Biden Hunter story was true. That a complete manipulation of the psyche and awareness of the American people was afoot. And we're just supposed to buy that this was a completely charitable, corrupt uh, conspiracy to, as you say, put forth the correct result for the election because that's what America deserved, or that was. I don't understand the mentality. You have robbed the people of information. You have robbed them of breaking news. You have robbed them of the results of this election as it was supposed to be duly processed. And we're just supposed to you know to have it spun in such a way that it can be nothing but a positive thing. Who do they think they're kidding? Is my question.
Dude, I
So
don't know.
Well, the Hunter Biden, yeah, let's go over that for a second. Um, he takes a laptop into a repair shop to have it repaired, doesn't come back, doesn't pick it up. The owner of the repair shop finally gets fed up, starts going through it because he wants to get his money back, and discovers all of this really wow shit in it that I won't even say on YouTube, at least.
you know,
It gets reported on because it's something that actually happened. And Twitter is saying, no, 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 you can't report that. That didn't really happen. The who was it that the Times turns around and says this thing happened? Well, we're going to lock you out until you take this and take it back. And they say, no, we're not taking it back. You can leave us locked out. We don't give a fuck. And 3 days later, they Twitter finally says, yeah, I guess you can leave the story up after all. Because it really did happen. And this is what the whole thing is starting to turn into is we're going to say it didn't happen. We're going to say this, that, the other thing didn't really happen or didn't happen the way you said it happened until some time has gone by and they start to realize, oh, yeah, everything that you said is true. And I've seen that happen to me.
again, yeah, this is just, it's more of the same. It's all the same thing of we're not really living in a democracy. We're not living in a place where we can elect our leaders. And again, this is a club for the elite now. There's no longer a place for for the little guy to have a voice or to participate in any level of society. For fuck's sake, it's and I really, we're here now. We are actually in the place that is talked about in. Look, I'm a deeply religious person, and the introduction that I read to you in the front at the beginning of this stream is scripture for me. To actually see it unfold and to be in this place is something I did not think. It would be like a normal Christian watching locusts fly through the sky and devouring everything. It's like watching the rivers turn into blood. It is an extremely harrowing experience to witness the fact that we, as a people, have lost democracy, and that it is and it's so clear that the righteous are being persecuted because of their righteousness. Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong.
Fuck no, he didn't.
He defended his life, and he's being tossed to the wolves because he made a stand against Antifa. He made a stand against violence. He made a stand against being oppressed and being outnumbered and still coming out on top and being okay. That is something that we are not allowed to even think about. You are not allowed to even consider the option of rising up and defending yourself, because in the end you are fucked anyway. That this is an amount of demoralization that is not acceptable, and it's not going. It can't last forever. We are in a. Thank you, Mook. I don't know why I sound great now. This is the great time for my sound to kick in. This is not, as I've said in the Discord, we will not have a return to normal.
No.
We are not. We are not going. There's not even going to be a new normal. That we are just going to spiral down into oblivion, whatever the bottom looks like, because in scripture, from what I have read, this leads to complete annihilation. Complete. Even the people who think that they're winning now, they get fucked. They're completely erased. So civilization ends, and here's what you have to understand. The way the cards are being played, the way that the dominoes are falling, Biden is reversing every great thing that Trump has ever done for the middle class. And what is going to happen as a result of that is not just and it's not just the squeezing of the middle class into serfdom. It's not just the complete removal of opportunity. It's going to become a depression. And what happens when the Americans experience a depression is the entire world goes into a depression. And after that happens, I mean, don't quote me on this, but start looking up to the sky and expecting fire to come down from it. I mean,
give a fuck.
I mean, we have there. Things are going to get worse and worse and worse. Hello, Sean. Mi fellow cabron. And pandejo.
Hello, caboner.
I know that word. That
Yep.
is a bad word. You not use that word anymore.
Oh,
What, caboner?
please. Cabron. Oh.
As long as
I
I'm not
guess I
called a
failed
term
Spanish
paper.
again.
Oh my goodness. Wait, what?
As long as I'm not called a term paper again, I'm good.
I don't even want to know. Karn, hear me out before you say no. Theoretically speaking, let's just say that America alone ends up facing all of these horrible, awful, terrible things, and the rest of the world is just like, oh well, glad I don't live in America right now, right? How would we go about fixing this problem? And don't go black pill on me. Hear me out.
Okay.
First of all, you're right. They can't keep this scam up forever. All right. The dam is already failing. Okay. Are any of you
I
familiar
love the
with
Spanish posting in chat. You guys are Chads.
oh, are either of you familiar with the Oroville Dam near failure from a couple of years ago?
Sounds
Okay, so
familiar.
so how did they fix it? Let me
Okay.
know.
First of all, it's what they did wrong to begin with that's more important.
Okay.
They built they built an earth dam to control the Feather River. What does water do to dirt?
Erodes it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, as an emergency safety valve thing, they put basically a big aqueduct that would take water off of the dam if it got too high and run it down past Orville, I think it was. But that's also on a dirt hill.
Oh God.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So a section of this aqueduct washed out.
Well,
And
no
it's a
shit.
section of an aqueduct that's as wide as an 8-lane freeway.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay. The sheriff, and I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. He did everything he could, up to and including getting the people ready to evacuate the town because the dam was about to burst. Um, the water came down just in time, and they've spent the last 2 years rebuilding that aqueduct, but they still won't rebuild the dam. To
Okay.
rebuild this dam, first of all, you've got to let this dam break. We're going to have to just let the dam break and clean up the mess that happens, whether it's full on boog or a few people do some time and others resign for health reasons, or there's probably something in between. Um, and Karn, I know you're looking forward to the boog. Spice, I don't think you are you?
Yes and no. I'm kind of conflicted on that. Yes, I'll finally be able to do what feels right.
Everyone should be conflicted about a boog. I'm just
I,
going to
I'll,
say that flat out.
I'll finally get to do what feels right, but I'm conflicted because I don't want my kids to see that and all that it entails.
Well, okay. Let me look. Mandatory. I know what you're
Yep.
saying, and I hear you out. And you're right. The dam does have to break in order for it to rebuild. The problem is the process, as you're clearly witnessing in your real life example, is going to be painful, slow, and no one wants to do it. And that's what these robbers, these Gadiantans, these secret combinations are counting on. And what it's going to look like, and I'm using a scriptural reference because that's all I have at this point. Again, for me, this is like watching one of the 10 plagues that pop out of nowhere. And the way that this works is over the next 20 years, what's going to happen is we're just going to have to how do you say it's going to take a series of steps, and that series of steps is something that no one wants to do. And the only way that you're going to be able to be okay individually and on a family local level is to basically just bunker up with like-minded people. and
Well,
and when they come for you, and they will, because that's what they do.
Wake
um well, here's the thing. I'm not sure that they're going to have the resources and the morale to do another Waco to this many holdouts.
I have to agree with you. Right now, the National Guard is, at least around DC, they are very demoralized. I had some buddies come back recently. They are, it's bad over there.
Well, and not only that, but you have this new Pentagon 60-day, essentially an ideological purge of the military. And I have a friend who posed a very interesting theory that they're politically purging the military, dwindling down their ranks to the point to where they're going to call in the UN or the Blue Helmets to assist in defending the DC the DC
Okay,
compound right now.
Karn,
Go ahead.
before we get to that point, I don't see it getting to that point because this dam is actually breaking. We are watching it. The shit like this story we were talking about from Time Magazine.
I finally
This
found
is
that
literally
article too.
this
Okay.
is them trying to get everything out through the safety uh, the safety spillway, and the safety spillway itself just gave out.
Okay. So what happens next, in your opinion?
Um, well, thank you, Time, for opening the door for us. Um, uh, the corruption in the election process is going to become very widely understood and known probably in about 6, maybe 8 months, where it'll be at the point where nobody can deny it. YouTube can't take videos down for it, and they, Karn, you were there that night when I was talking about it. They
Uh-huh.
took that one down,
Yep.
and Joe's just going to have to resign. Now, what's
You
Once
see,
they get
mandatory.
power, they never
You
never
Yeah,
step down
exactly.
from it.
No. Once you get secret combinations, once these gangsters and thugs get into power, you need power to remove them.
Yeah,
And that is
no,
not me being pessimistic. That's just reality. I mean,
I think
this
he's
is
going to be. I think that was the plan all along. Joe didn't want the
oh,
job.
get Kamala in.
no.
Yeah,
I don't.
well, maybe,
I don't think it
probably.
matters. It doesn't matter. It
Um,
doesn't matter who's in. It doesn't matter who's in, whether it's Kamala, whether it's Joe. It's about the agenda and the club that they represent and the goals that they want to press forth.
okay,
Regular Americans do not have a political option. That's the point.
all right. Joe always knew that he would never see the end of his first term. He never wanted to see the end of his first term. He just wanted to get the door unlocked to get somebody else in there. And now that he's in there, he's going to cruise along for probably 6 to 8 months. And then he's going to resign for health reasons right as all of this starts to blow up in his face. But as he's going down, he's going to make sure he goes down by himself. He's going to protect Kamala
He's
from,
going to martyr himself.
yeah, well, yeah. He's going to protect her because she didn't know about any of this, and this was action taken by people in my employ that I did not know about, and the stress of all of this has forced me to resign. Meanwhile, we're all sitting here saying, "No, Joe, we know what you did last summer, and dude, you're not fooling us. She's not fooling us either. We just can't prove it."
Okay, I understand what you're saying, mandatory, and I don't. Here's my problem. I don't know if I agree or not because in my mind, why does it fucking matter? That doesn't change where we are. That doesn't change what's going to happen in the next couple of years. It doesn't change the fact that we might never ever get another Donald Trump or any true populist movement. It doesn't change the fact that our middle class is going to be squeezed into oblivion. It, it doesn't change anything. And
Um,
I'm trying to see the light at the end of your tunnel, and all I'm seeing is more oblivion.
Well, the light at the end of the tunnel is we got to put the pressure on them to and we'll never prove that she did anything, but we're gonna have to remove her from office as well. And one of the big things is get rid of Dominion. Just
Yes,
junk it.
and I understand that would be the goal. The question is, how do you suggest going about it?
Hang on.
Um, I
Listen
don't
to
think I
this
can
real
say that
quick.
on YouTube.
Listen to this real quick.
All right, let's hear it.
AFL-CIO President Richard Trumka, Trumka, and the heads of the National Association of Evangelicals and the National African American Clergy Network, and this is a quote, "It is imperative that election officials be given the space and time to count every vote in accordance with applicable laws. We call on the media, the candidates, and the American people to exercise patience with the process and trust in our system, even if it requires more time than usual." So, what this is telling me, not only can we not trust the White House, you cannot trust the courts, you can't trust the
Nope.
media, and you can't trust any candidates from this point on anymore. There is no trust. The system is fucking broken. Wall Street Bets has shown us that even gambling with the big boys doesn't help anymore.
Nope.
From the ground up, we are fucked up. That is
Yep.
it. No ifs, ands, or buts. It is time to either refurbish, reinvent, rebuild, whatever. We have to unfuck the system somehow. But how are we going to unfuck it?
The answer, to be quite blunt, is you're not going to unfuck it. What you're going
No.
to do is society is going to break down into minor tribes. We're all going to tribalize. We're
Yep.
all
And
going to
the
break off into our own little groups and say, come and take it because we'll die trying. We will defend what is ours unto bloodshed. That's what it's going to take. You're going to have to tell people who are not in your tribe, whoever they are, and say, this is ours, and if you try to take it, you're going to die. That's what this is going to break down into. That is the
You're literally
trajectory.
talking about Yugoslavia too.
Well, as I said, mandatory, I don't think this is just going to be an American problem. The
no,
breakdown of American society is going to have global ramifications.
if
And
we break down, the rest of the world's going to break down with us. And I'm willing to bet in the next 42, 44 days, from the chatter I'm hearing, we're possibly going to hit a bigger depression than the Great Depression.
Cool.
exactly.
This system has to implode for anything to change.
Because if you notice, with this whole Wall Street bet shit, what's going on? There's a lot of chatter that's been pointing out that with all this bad shit happening, the stock market's been going up, no fucking matter what.
Yep.
Well, that means there's a fucking bubble. There's a raging pile of bubble, and
Uh-huh.
it's gonna blow. We're all gonna get bukkake by it.
No, we're not going to get cocky by it. And that's actually part of, if you look in the description of chat, um, I'm a Mormon. I'm a Latter-day Saint.
Yeah, we've
I
heard.
have I have in chat a link to find the local your personal local meeting house. If anyone is ever in need, especially I don't care if it's mandatory, I don't care if it's spicy P, myself or anyone listening to in chat. If you're in need of food, life or life supporting supplies, use that link to find your local meeting house. You'll be given the information of the local bishop, and you can petition them for welfare, for aid, for food, for toothpaste, toilet paper, anything that you need.
Where were
Um,
you 6 months ago?
I was keeping quiet because shit weren't this bad.
Yeah,
Because
did you see the price of toilet paper 6 months ago?
mandatory, shut the
Yes.
fuck up. No, I don't care about your problem. I'm giving it to you now because I
No, I
really
get it. I get
view
it.
I view the church as it currently stands to be the shelter for this fucking storm. And uh, feel free to disagree. And I honestly, I don't care about your belief in Jesus Christ. I don't care if you believe in Joseph Smith. I don't care. All I'm saying is we have a system in place for our own. And anyone who comes to it and says, I'm in need, we're not going to turn you away unless you come telling us that we have to give it to you. Then you will be sent off. um, but no, we're going to, and I encourage both of you and everyone listening to form your own community, form your own system of self-reliance. Because if you don't, you're dead, and you will be cannibalized by the powers at the top right now. That's how this is going to go. That's how this is going to fall apart. Because the people who are in power now are not going to give up their power by any means. By any means. There's no legal recourse. There's no political recourse. There is no due process for what is coming for this country.
It's just been proven through this article that everything is broken. We are on our own in every way, shape, and form.
And I'll be honest, if you know someone who is being prosecuted for participating in protest, um, do whatever you can to aid, support, and if God is willing and on your side and you feel so inspired, get them the fuck out. And I'm serious. If you feel that you have the power and the means and the strategy to get them out of the big house, get them out. In fact, the way things are going right now, I don't see many big houses being open for much longer. When I say big house, I'm assuming everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because they're going to be opening up a bunch of fucking gulags for the rest of us.
Pretty much.
I
Pretty
have
much.
absolutely no intention of going.
Well,
Um,
and another thing, if an FBI agent or anyone else comes to your door asking about alleged domestic or white supremacy views, it is your moral obligation as an American to shoot them. Because as history has shown, and this is actually pretty true, if the Jews during Hitler's roundup for the Holocaust had killed an SS member for each raid on a Jewish family, they couldn't have continued raiding the Jewish families.
Yeah,
So,
but keep in mind, had
they would
they
have sent the
actually
army to do it for them.
had had they had they kept their gun rights to begin with, it wouldn't have been a damn problem. In order for that to have happened, they had to first take away all the guns, which is what we're
well,
going to be seeing for the next 4 fucking years, is them attempt to take away the guns.
and again, once that happens, Texas will cede, and then we'll kick off the boog, because secession always kicks off the boog.
I refuse to give up my Rudy Tooty point and shooty, damn it.
No, and I'm dead serious that this article confirms if I can read off another scripture to y'all, um, it confirms this line. It reads, "Wherefore the Lord commandeth you, when you shall see these things come among you, that ye shall awake to a sense of your awful situation, because of the secret combination which shall be among you, or woe be unto it, because of the blood of them who have been slain, for they cry up to the dust for vengeance upon it, and also upon those who built it up." And that was the line that came into my mind when I heard of this article, and I told my wife, I am awakening to this awful situation, which, in all honesty, we already knew was there. We already knew this was fucking happening. They just didn't broadcast it.
Yeah, well, now
Uh,
they're taking the veil off. I gotta hit on something. Sean Stryker says gun rights were lost in Weimar liberal Germany.
Yep.
That's not exactly true. Actually, they did require guns to be registered. But
And then when the Nazis came into power, they were the ones that confiscated them because of the registrations. When they got
no,
ready, oh yeah, swear to God,
no,
great. My great grandma told me this. She lived through it.
Jewish and other undesirable guns were rounded up, but the average German was able to keep theirs.
I'm really not going to split that ass hair.
Well, that's more than an ass hair.
I am really not going to split that ass hair. And yeah, the SSU's records, and
They did.
uh, and Alex is defending Hitler as he came to get commie guns, whatever. I don't really care. The fact is he did it, and I'll be honest, Alex, that is the same kind of mentality that these assholes today are going to use to take your guns. You have
Yeah.
the wrong ideology. You are a domestic terrorist. You are a threat to the system. It's the same exact reasoning for gun
Yeah, it is.
confiscation against quote unquote communist Jews than it would be for the religious right. It's the same fucking shit. And it's going to
Although
have
this time around, they're just going to take everything.
well, yes, they're and here's my thing. We're all next. I mean, the if they are successful in all of this for in this trajectory, in this downward spiral, kiss your religious rights online goodbye.
Yep.
No, kiss all of your religious rights.
Exactly.
Bye.
Well, first it's going to happen online. Then they're going to try and take you out on your property, on your it's
Gretchen Whitmer already did.
Wait, say that again.
Gretchen Whitmer, Michigan governor.
Okay.
She already closed chapels across the state, and at one point ordered nails to be dropped in the parking lot of one that was doing drive-through service to close that chapel, one way or the other. Oh my
Yep.
God, bitch! That you just endangered people's lives.
No. Do you guys want to know how bad things are before all of this came to light? Things have gotten so bad that the end of 2019, my church, the Mormon church, we made our religious program home based. In other words,
Okay.
we take what we learn at home and rehash it at church. And during COVID, and we're still in this phase, by the way, priesthood holders at home would administer the sacrament at home. And I see that being the norm in, I don't know, 3 or 5 years. That's going to be necessary. Just looking at the way things are going right now. And on one hand, I'm grateful. On the other hand, I'm terrified. One, we saw this coming somehow. There was some prophetic power that said, hey, you might want to get this shit done. On the other hand, the fact that it became necessary for that to be made and executed and made public for our faith is greatly disturbing. And I don't think that it was. I don't think that this program was designed with COVID in mind. COVID was just a nice test run for it. Let's go to chat for a second. Open secrets. They will arm BLM and Antifa. They will execute all of you for the elites. Well,
no, they're not going to arm BLM and Antifa. They're going to let them kind of keep whatever they have as long as they need these two groups around to do the dirty work. Oh God damn it, Spice, you're old enough to remember this. the private armies from Yugoslavia. What were they called?
Oh,
Well, no,
we're not talking about the mercenaries.
The
well,
Serbian private army.
well, hang on. Let's back up a bit. Yes, BLM and Antifa will be active and violent.
Yeah.
And there's going to be the pretense of justice in this system. In other words,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
you don't you dare retaliate against Antifa or BLM. They might not necessarily arm them physically, but don't you dare retaliate against them. Don't you dare stand up against them. Because if you do and you kill, quote unquote, one of their own or one of their lackeys, then you're going to be Kyle Rittenhouse. You're going to be dragged through the
Yeah.
mud. You're
Well,
going to have the book thrown at you. You're going to be unpersoned. You're not going to have any rights as an American citizen because the entire system is rotted out.
as this charade really plays out towards the end, they're going to start turning on BLM and Antifa too, and they're going to do it with the military power. They're not going to send the cops to shut these groups down. They're going to send at least the National Guard in, if not the regular army, to take these groups out as well.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't see them quashing Antifa or BLM. I don't see that happening. I think that
They're armed, they're violent, they're opposed to any government power. They were
but they're not a threat.
useful.
They're not a
They
threat.
are a threat.
They're not a threat, man. I'm sorry,
Oh,
but I don't.
oh yeah.
I don't.
Irregulars. Thank you, Sean. The irregulars.
Yep.
So tell me more about these irregulars.
During the Yugoslavian Civil War, there were the regular forces. The Serbians had their army, the Bosnians had their army, the Croatians had their army, and behind them came up these usually sort of uniformed forces that would do all of the genocide type work for them.
Well, thank God we're in America and we still have guns. And again, if things really get to this point, as we speculate that it will, and it most likely will, you know that saying about a gun behind every blade of grass?
It will get there pretty quickly.
Say that again, Spicy.
Nobody actually said that, but it's commonly referred to Isoroku Yamamoto.
Yeah, that's that no one actually said it. It's just attributed to him.
Yeah, it's just attributed to him. He never actually said that.
Interesting.
No, the lieutenant, and I've seen the lieutenant's name, he said something to the effect of. But by the time the lieutenant's being interviewed, Yamamoto's been dead like 3 or 4 years. So he can't come back and say, "Oh no, what I actually said was." It's kind of too late.
Got it. So no, and I believe in that phenomenon with Americans. I mean, let's be honest. When shit really hits the fan, as it surely will in the near future, because well, they keep taking the mask off and completely demoralizing the populace. We're going to see a lot of reported boating accidents, and a lot of the friends who do have guns are going to start giving their friends free guns because you can't let your friend be defenseless in the face of a mob, because that's what we're coming down to. We're coming down to not just mob violence, but mob how do you put this? Mob desperation. We're going to have a complete breakdown of society where mob desperation is going to be a real thing. And there's going to be people who are hungry, who are looking for food, who are and who are going to, and it's strange because I have and Sean, the link is in Discord. It's always in Discord, and the Discord link is in the description. The way that this works, and this is ironic.
You can make
What's ironic is that the way that this breaks down in scripture, from what I've read, is, well, yes, Alex, not just pillaging. It's what happens is the secret combinations, these these evil the evil way in which people collude and connive and exploit one another become so commonplace. And that's why I think BLM and Antifa aren't going to go away. They're not going to be squashed by the elites, because when the people, the populace themselves, start to engage in the same behavior that the elites are, it just further deteriorates society, and it consolidates the elites' power because they're already at the top. You're just fighting for scraps. So it doesn't matter if you're being just as evil as they are at a lower tier. It doesn't matter. So if you're an actually decent, good, and honorable person, the main thing to do is to consolidate and gather a community and meet with like-minded people and have your own home and defense, your own have your own protection and your own supplies. And we have Sean here. He's coming on. Dude, I would not get on video on this stream. Just FYI, because it has been finicky as fuck.
Well, can you hear my audio at least?
Yeah.
Yeah, and can everyone hear mine?
555.
Okay.
Good deal. I saw someone dropped out. Do they have to leave for the night? Because I was hoping we'd have 4 people on a panel versus 3.
I have no idea. I think the internet is cutting out for everyone across the board, and God knows why that is. But yeah, my internet just dropped to the lower bars. Spicy P, are you all right?
Oh, I'm good. As long as I stay by the window, I have 3 bars.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, the Wi-Fi.
Hey,
go on, Stryker.
Complete what your thought is, and then I'll bump in it right after that.
No, I was just saying that, you know, the way that this is explained to me in scripture is when the reason why BLM and Antifa aren't going away is because as society continues to break down, what happens is the tactics and the strategy the elites use to get on top through these secret combinations is the lower tiers of society start imitating them and start becoming like them. And it doesn't matter to the elites. It's not going to matter because they're already at the top, and those who are imitating them at the bottom are fighting for scraps. And that's what any decent and moral person is going to have to contend with as society continues to break down and decay. So what is your take on it?
Are you asking me or are you asking Spicy?
Both of you. I value both inputs.
Spicy, you want to go first?
You go first, man.
Well, back in the day, there used to not be a thing called a Gucci handbag. Then everybody had to have a Gucci handbag because some elites wanted to have Gucci handbags. Now we not only have knockoffs, but we have everybody at every fashion store trying to buy Gucci handbags. So it's real simple. If they believe that, oh, this is a special item, the must-have item. I'm old enough to remember the Cabbage Patch Kids being the hot toy in 84, 86, whatever it was, and Toys R Us, you know, getting flooded with people fighting over a doll. So now we're going to fight over masks, it seems.
Good Lord. And Mandatory is back. So good to have you back, sir.
Awesome.
I'm reloading the actual YouTube stream. You know that comment about blade behind every or a gun behind every blade of grass. You know you can build a Mac 11 from quote total trash in a RAM set, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Spice knows about this one.
I am thoroughly aware. And if you wish, in the Discord, we have a self-reliance self-reliance channel where you can get some good resources on your own self-defense in case you
Yeah.
have to make your own in a pinch. So those resources are available in the Discord.
Oops.
All right. What did I miss?
You missed me explaining how
Referencing
secret combinations will not just be an elite thing. It's going to trickle down and decay into the rest of society, and that's why I believe that BLM and Antifa aren't going anywhere, because the elites are going to
Not soon.
have, huh?
They're not going anywhere soon.
Well, no, I don't think they're going anywhere ever. I think that the more that people start to imitate the behavior and stratagem of the elite, the more and more we're going to have not just a breakdown of society, but we're going to have the same kind of temperament, the same kind of strategies, the same kind of corruption at the lower tiers of society. We're going to have essentially gangs, kingpins, mafia dons, and not just the ones that we're used to who have like a code of honor. We're talking about bloodthirsty bandits who, if you don't belong in a gang, you don't get to eat, is essentially what we're going to be experiencing. And so any decent and moral person is going to be defending themselves on all sides if you don't want to
what's the
devolve
new
into
gang
that kind of a
apparel?
monster. Huh?
What's the new gang apparel, my friend? It's pretty
Whatever
obvious.
the fuck you're wearing now.
No,
Whatever
sir. It's the mask. The mask is the new gang apparel.
Are you shitting
You guys
me?
haven't gotten it yet. The mask is the new gang apparel. You're either with the mask or you're against the mask.
No,
It's a
that's
cultic,
not
my
all of
friend.
it. No.
Trust me, it is. Carnal, you're not going to like me saying this, but on Wednesday, I went over to my bank and there were two elders, with their missionary shirts, the black ties, the name badges. I'm like, brothers, get the masks off. Come on. I'm going by them on the way to the bank. I have to chastise them
Don't
because
harass
if
the
the church,
elders.
I love
They
them,
are
brother.
doing.
If they submit to the globalists, if the churches buckle at the knee, guess what? The globalists win. The churches cannot play this game with the ecumenical councils. I'm looking right here at
Look.
Romans 13, 1-4. I will read that to you. And, it's as
Please,
important
no.
whether it's
Please
Book of
do.
Mormon or anything else. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there's no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Whoever therefore resisteth the power resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. Now I can go on,
And
for
that
he is the
is
minister of God
that
to thee for
is
good,
that,
so
Striker.
on and so forth.
Is
Okay.
all well and good. That is fascinating. I'm very, very proud that we should stand up against worldliness. That's fantastic. However, when you're a missionary and your job is to abide by the laws of the land and to preach the gospel in an inconspicuous manner, and so that you can move in society, you are to do whatever you are told to do so that you can get the message out. They are not obligated to rebel or to protest. That's not their job. And it's for the same reason that despite winning the quote unquote debate with Peter about circumcision, why Paul still had his student and protege Timotheus circumcised. Obedience is still a part of the law. And if the higher ups of the church say missionaries need to abide the standards of the mask to continue their work, then that's what they do. And it's not
So
just
that means,
about bending the knee; it's about them doing their job.
okay, so no singing in the congregation, right? I'm going somewhere really esoteric on you with this. So
Oh no,
I
we
hope you're
still
ready
sing
to
in the
dig in with this.
congregation. Now hang on, but
Okay, so
you
the church.
meeting, hang on, you meeting two missionaries at a bank with their masks on is not the same as going into our chapels and seeing people not singing. I highly doubt that is the case when you walk into a Latter-day Saint chapel on Sunday. We are
Yes,
still singing our hymns. I promise you.
Good, but that's what they've been pushing too, is no singing. It spreads the COVID. You have to
Well,
understand, they want to incrementally, in increments, they want to take away your rights. The mask is the first and most blatant, obvious sign of this.
I don't
whether you believe the
disagree with
virus
you.
is real or not.
Well, I don't disagree with that statement. That doesn't change what needs to be done for a missionary to do their job.
It's very hard to hear a person with a mask over their mouth, let me tell you. You know?
That's kind of true.
Well, and
Second, so you alter the word
I'm
because you cannot hear.
Okay. Come
You
again.
see, a missionary has to be able to express and convey the emotions appropriate to the word of the gospel, whether it's joy or sorrow, depending on what story they're trying to proselytize and get across. If they cannot do that because their facial features are limited, their skills as a missionary are hampered. Again, these are subtle ways to chip away at Christianity of all denominations. I can focus on the Mormon church because I'm giving you that recent Mormon reaction. I can tell you about Calvary Presbyterian downtown where I work security for them, giving homeless outreach. They're afraid to do it because if one thing goes wrong, their whole church, they're worried will be shut down. So they're going to quit feeding the homeless out of fear of a virus.
Well, did you hear what I said about what we did in 2019?
The opening up the Bishop storehouse, or
No.
was that
It was after that. In 2019, our church program was altered. The time of the service was shortened to 2 hours, and the curriculum, the study manual, is oriented to function as a home-based gospel learning program.
Guys, I got to ask you a question. Is this
Okay.
about the election or the religion?
Well, it's a symbol of both. If you believe how Christians are treated in this country, it's a side effect of where the election went. The Democrats love control, and they're going to use different things to impose on all the Christian denominations, regardless.
Well, religion is outside my business model right now. So,
Yeah,
Thorn, I'm going to go ahead and bail. You guys argue
I can
the
change
religion be like.
But I can change gears to business. You're free to do business too, but are you going to let these globalists tell you how to run your business, your property?
Stryker, the point here is, what choice are you really going to have in terms of force? In terms of retaliation, what choice are you actually? Well, okay, so again, if you're not going to retaliate,
Part of non-compliance is so difficult. Are you in a town that you pay taxes in? Are you in a town that if they're forcing you to do this stuff, you guys get with other taxpayers and you get off your tail, you go to your county assembly meetings, you go to your city council meetings, and you make the ruckus you need to make that is within the framework of the law. If you're saying, oh, they're not going to honor us because of the law, trust me, they'll get sick of having their phones jammed or having, piles of letters on their desks sooner or later. And then there's, even further options that I can go into that I have gone into before. But if we're all going to sit around and mope and say they're going to come and pull us out of our houses kicking and screaming, our brothers and sisters will pull us out of the houses kicking and screaming if they think there's a problem with us. If we communicate with them and our point of view is better, we might just win them over, but you got to make that initial effort. You guys, I'm sorry to tell you, you have a doom and gloom mindset.
Well, yes, you have a doom and gloom mindset because the deck is stacked. And I can't deny anymore that the deck is stacked.
It's been stacked forever. This is just the newest flavor. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry if I sound too optimistic for y'all, but this stuff's been in the works for a long time. The globalists have been saying they're going to do bio warfare on America. Anybody in the truth movement's been aware of this. When I was in the LDS church, my elders as a little kid were warning me about stuff like this.
Okay, so what's your silver? So you have the silver bullet then to stop the complete deterioration of society, because
you assume it's one shot, one kill. You got to have all the different styles of bullets. You got to have some lead. You got to have some steel, some full metal jacket, and silver. You guys are looking at only one approach. I want you guys to realize you got to have, like, you have a survivalist channel, you have the prepping channel, and all that stuff. You're on the right path. But just realize that if you buy into this mindset that we're being attacked and we may not prevail, there's if you self-sabotage by the we're going to lose and it's all going to go downhill mindset, you inevitably become your own Cassandra, your own what was her name in the Odyssey? You become your own
Yeah.
doomsayer.
I know who you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
but still, this is not a call for inaction by any means or stretch of the imagination. It's quite the opposite. But I'm not going to ignore reality. I'm not going to ignore the awful situation that we're in. I'm not going to pretend that there's an easy way or a clear way out. There isn't. There simply isn't one. And
Okay, let's go with business. Let's go with Wall Street.
Go with what?
What did the kids?
Okay.
Let's go with Wall Street. What did all the kids on Reddit do last week to GameStop? What did they do to the silver markets?
They crashed it.
Nobody. Yeah, they did the squeezes. They played, and showed the hedge funds that the hedge funds don't always call the shots. That right there is another bullet in our pocket. Put our money where our mouth and our ideals are. If people went to congregation.
Okay. I'm sorry. It was a nice Pyrrhic victory. It was nice to see that we could stick it to them in our dying gasps. And I'll be perfectly honest. It was exactly that. Because if you think that hole isn't going to be squeezed from the regular man, I think you're insane. I completely expect in the next couple of months or days or weeks or even within the end of the year, there will be legislation, there will be limitations put on regular people participating in that stock market to that effect. No, there's absolutely no doubt about that. You know that event was a one-off, and they're not going to allow it again. And you've seen in this article, in this Times Magazine article, that there is a cabal of people from across all intelligentsia, from across all of the facets of power in this nation, who are going to stop the little guy from ever experiencing those kind of victories again. And we're not going to have the death of 1,000 cuts that we pretend it's going to be. It's going to be one cut, healed up, and then you have to go in for another, and hopefully it'll have another effect. But it's not going to happen that way. They're going to heal their wounds. They're going to seal up the opportunity.
Yes. And so what happens when we pull all our money out of the banks, out of the markets? When we opt out of these 401ks, or we cash in if we have, precious metals, we say, okay, we do want our precious metal on hand. You see, we can crash the markets too. We can do runs on the markets. We could force them to collapse before they're ready for it, as troublesome as that would be. The real problem with this country is everyone's debating, do we take the Band-Aid off slowly or take it off fast? But the thing is after you take the Band-Aid off, you still heal. Whether you do it fast or slow, how many hairs you pull out along the way is up to you.
I'll be honest. There are not enough people who are willing to rip off the Band-Aid fast for the elites to make the elites notice in a way that they're not going to be able to recover. They will recover.
This attempt at purging the armed forces, I think that's going to backfire magnificently on this Biden occupation.
Now, don't get me wrong. As I've gone through how this system evolves and develops, there are moments where the good guys have temporary victories. There are those moments, but they're only temporary. That's what you have to get into your head. Any victory that you see is just going to be ripped out from under your feet. And any victory that means anything is going to cost you. And it's not going to be something as benign as the stock market and fucking with their numbers. No,
that's why you don't stand on the
real
victory.
Victories. The real victories that you're going to pull are going to be when you are with your community behind the wall, gunning down your opposition. That's going to be your victory.
Last I remember, we're supposed to be proselytizing to the opposition before we gun them down. You have to serve them notice for redress of grievances. And that's the step everyone's forgetting. Everyone's jumping to the militia and two-way before they redress the grievances. Complaining with a poster board isn't how you do it, my friends. So if you're skipping, if the person doesn't know they're doing you wrong and you haven't morally notified them, lawfully notified them that they're doing you wrong, you don't have the moral high ground to then punish them for doing that wrong.
I don't think I have to give the burglar in my house due notice. I don't think I have to inform them they're doing something wrong. I think by the time
Yeah.
they show up at my doorstep, that discussion's already out the window.
The fence is your way of telling them to stay out, correct? But you know, these
Yes.
folks, because they are quote unquote voted in, remember I said quote unquote voted in, they think they have permission because the election results are quote unquote upheld. As you may
No,
have seen in the chat, February
these
19th, we have 3 trials.
these fuckers know damn well they've crossed the fence. They know damn well that they're not invited in. That's the
Yes,
point. They
but you
already
have to
know this.
show,
Pretending otherwise is just
yes, we know they're shameless. We know
hopeless
they've committed a
optimism.
crime. You have to show the crime in the court of public opinion. Otherwise, the court of public opinion turns on you. It's like nobody, maybe I'm just too jaded, but I understand how they play their game. And there's a way to fist them by using their own rules against them. And nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to go and be Rambo. And hey, some of us are skilled at that. Great. But the problem with that is they will spin that into you being Rambo. And then worse, they turn you into Ted Kaczynski. So you gotta watch the mindset. You were telling people that if the FBI comes to your door, yada yada. If you put up a no trespass sign, then sure, the FBI can't come to your door. Otherwise, they're going to treat you like Randy Weaver. Okay, that's the stuff I was learning as a member of the LDS Church. Is we had all the elders and even the bishopric were looking at what was going on at Ruby Ridge and Waco, as horror because the Clintons were trying to essentially telegraph what they were going to do to any Christian denomination that opposed them. So I'm old enough to have seen all that play out. If you guys think bugging out's going to work, bugging out doesn't counter a bunker buster.
No one said anything about bugging out. That is the exact opposite of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you need to consolidate. You need to form communities and you need to protect what is yours. That's what this is going to come down to. And by the way, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to properly broadcast the concept of raising your own title of liberty and drawing people to you, to your banner, to your flag, to your call of, I don't want to say resistance, but your own homestead, your own standard, your own preferred being. But that also needs to be done. We need to broadcast to others, hey, this is a place where you can go. This is a place where we are preparing. This is a place where you can be free as much as anyone could be free in these times. But that also needs to be done. Banners need to be flown, and people need to have the choice to follow freedom and to follow liberty, to follow a good Christian living. And people need that choice. They deserve the right to freely associate to be protecting those communities. So no, bugging out. This is about consolidation. This is about consolidation and holding your line because they're going to come for you. It's just a matter of when.
No, I'm looking at more of a much as they're an insurgency, we got to be an insurgency. If you put everyone in one spot, one village per se, that makes one target. So I'm looking at more as of a guerrilla subversive mindset.
Striker, again, Striker. This is not a call for everyone together in one spot per se. We do need multiple spots where people are living freely their own lives. We do need people to be able to say, there's this node of resource and refuge, there's this node of resource and refuge, there's this node of resource and refuge, and I'm just going to come out and say it. The Latter-day Saint faith has this system. They're called stake centers.
I'm aware of it. Nice big basketball court.
Resources the basketball court. That's where all of the resources. Where's that noise coming from?
No idea. It sounds like someone's dragging sand.
You know what? I'm going to call it because my wife is sawing down a redwood forest right now. You guys have a good night.
All right, good night.
Take care, brother.
And I keep getting told in chat to start my own country. This is not a good idea, gentlemen.
No.
This is not a good idea. You
Maybe
do not
retake
want
your country.
you do not want the land of Carnal to be a thing. Oh mercy. That no. I am no George Washington, to say the least. But no, yeah, that was something that Spicy left on his departure, and Alex is saying that Carnal wants to start it. No, I do not want to start a country. And you sound like a Christian separatist. No, I wish it was that simple. I wish it would be as simple as calling yourself a Christian separatist. It's the fact that the American Constitution has been denied, and the
Which
current
version?
incoming regime. I'm not even going to bother answering that question. I'm not even going to approach that with a 10-foot pole.
I love you, but
I'm
that's why they deny it. Is they're using their version.
Exactly. And so the idea that, look, when you say a Christian separatist, and he makes something abundantly clear about my faith once again, we believe that the Constitution is a divinely inspired document. So I cannot defect from the Constitution. I can't defect from what God has moved men to install through his divine will. I can't defect from that. So calling me a Christian separatist is far from is very, very inaccurate.
If I may,
Please go on.
I believe you have a right to assemble. So there's nothing wrong with people who do choose to separate. It's just, again, the media spun that into such a negative. The talking heads in media and newspapers, we could say newspapers going back to the Mormon pioneers. Oh, the Mormons are weird. They want to live in Utah all alone. Well, what about the Quakers? What about the Amish? You see, it's all in who spins the narrative. It's been going on for over 100 years, folks, that these medias have been telling you that if someone wants to live out in the woods with just their family, practice their faith, be left alone, that they're quirky. No, that's actually why the Puritans left England and set up Plymouth Colony. Besides business, which is one element of it, they wanted to get away from the Anglican Church that was cozying up to the Catholic Church at the time. That's why you had the whole Queen Elizabeth Bloody Mary situation, because the crown was divided between Protestants and Catholics fighting with each other. People had enough of it. But hey, we actually have all getting stuck in the city.
We actually have an interesting question in chat. Do you support Roe v. Wade? And the answer is hell no. That is Roe v. Wade is not found in the Constitution. It's not a constitutional teaching, and it goes against God. So no, the answer is no. Roe v. Wade is not divine in any way, shape, or form. And to be explicitly clear, the concept of judicial review is not divinely inspired. Judicial review does not exist in the Constitution. Many people don't know that. Judicial review is an extrajudicial power that the court gave itself after its first case, saying, well, I don't really have power to adjudicate this case. And they were right. They didn't have the power, and they shouldn't have had the power. The point of the court was to interpret the law as it was
written.
As it was written. It wasn't to say whether or not a law was constitutional, because by virtue, if the Congress passes a law through the democratic process, through the republic process, then it can't be unconstitutional. Now, I know that seems contrary, from our modern mind, but the purpose of the court was not to decide whether or not a law was unconstitutional. That was for the people to resolve through their elected officials, and through bloodshed if necessary. But the court was never actually supposed to be turned into a device to declare whether or not something was or was not constitutional. So the process through which Roe v. Wade was even executed is not canon, shall we say.
If I may, the woman involved in Roe v. Wade, excuse me, it's late. That woman, she
No,
took
no, no,
back
no,
her
no, 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 no,
statements.
no. Let me stop you before you even begin. The woman involved in Roe v. Wade was a flip-flopping drug addict piece of shit.
Yep.
And
Yep.
she flipped back from I'm pro-life to I'm pro-choice, lesbian, born again Christian. She was a piece of shit. She was an opportunist piece of shit. That's all she was.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no point in giving her any more credence. It doesn't matter. She was the vehicle through which Roe v. Wade was passed, and after it was passed, she reaped the benefits from stupid Christians listening to her sob story. She was a piece of shit. Full stop. There's absolutely no reason to give that woman any reference or any credit for any supposed conversion she had. She was a drug addict piece of shit. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
And no one's giving
So
her credit. She's inconsistent in her testimony. If you're inconsistent in testimony, you're lying. It's pretty simple. So if they found law based on a lie, obviously the law is going to be unjust. It's the fruit of the poisonous tree.
what can I say
See?
except amen? It's
Same thing they did to
so
Roger Stone, everyone else
so
this
hang on,
last
hang on,
4 years.
hang on. Then we have a third guest, Runner. How's it going?
Welcome.
Good.
So what have you come on to express, man? Because I know you got something to say.
Well, I came on to say that the American military is going to split in two.
Well,
Bet- between the political officers and the grunts of the conservative parts of the military.
Well, yeah, that's how do I put this? They're not going to split. They're going to be disavowed. They're going to be purged from our military service. And when that happens, either A, we get a military filled with liberal pieces of shit, which I don't honestly see them getting enough liberal pieces of shit to fill the ranks. I don't see that happening. And B, they're going to have to fill the ranks with other soldiers from elsewhere. And once that happens, boog happens because Americans don't tolerate foreign forces on their soil to manage the civilian affairs, or at least we certainly shouldn't. So, Alex, I have no idea when England decided to legalize baby killing. I honestly couldn't care less. That England doesn't seem to care about it. Ireland recently overturned their laws on abortion, which is depressing.
Sadly.
And no, they overturned they're pro-abortion now. They used to be anti-abortion.
Yeah, sadly.
Yes, very sadly. And so Striker, Runner is from Australia. He's not English. Maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't. Runner, would you know when England decided to start their baby killing?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I know a lot about English gun law, but baby killing, nah.
Okay. So, anyways, and yeah, so that's where we're at. We're at the place where Time magazine has revealed that it's completely rigged, and we need to awaken to this awful situation quickly, and we need to respond appropriately. And the trajectory of how things go from this point to either oblivion or the literal second coming of Jesus Christ, it is not a pleasant it's bumpy to say the least, and it's not a very pleasant story. It's one that goes it goes the way of dystopia and breakdown of society and the government at large. Stryker, I'm going to give you the last word, and then we'll probably close. Keep it
Okay.
brief.
Well, that's probably the one thing I have trouble doing. Thanks. Let's see here, though. You know, you guys have made some very solid points, but I'm just telling you guys, be optimistic. There's a lot of stuff going on that we're not privy to. There's some stuff that we are privy to. I'd recommend, look at the Gateway Pundit article that was put out there. Look at the court cases that are happening. Notice the POTUS's presence at Mar-a-Lago. I don't know if you guys have seen the photos circling or elating around him. For some reason, he's keeping conference calls in these photos with groups of troops. So maybe the troops are already in a civil war. Just a possibility. And,
You know what? I honestly have not
DC.
seen, I haven't seen those images. And what's interesting
I'll pop them
is
up
how
on the Discord.
is how quiet Trump has been. He's been extremely quiet, and I bragged on the right for getting on this bandwagon of the office of the former president when there is literally no evidence, no website, no outlet for Trump to proclaim these declarations that we assume are coming out. Because I haven't seen any evidence of this office except the media say so, and that to me is highly suspect. So
Maybe
I'm
the media is trying to get us all worked up before things happen to cut it off at the pass. That's old school tactic.
Exactly. So I'm just going to hold my breath until it happens. And the way things are looking is it's looking rather hideous. And you mentioned these soldiers. My only issue with that is it's common knowledge that the president, until the day that he and his family die, after he leaves office, will have a dedicated retinue of Secret Service. So I don't know if that's Secret Service. I don't know if it's military.
In camouflage. I'll send you the pictures. They might be photoshopped, but for some reason, no one from the Trump side of the house has said to take the photos down. So we'll see.
All right. Well, fair enough. So on that
I'm
note,
going to
guys.
switch over right now.
All right. On that note, guys, you can see the photos in the Discord as Stryker's putting them down. To the rest of you, God bless and stay carnal. Have a good night, everyone.